Hello and welcome to today's episode of the Work at Home Rockstar podcast. Excited for today's guest. He is the founder and CEO of ATM Together, and he helps aspiring entrepreneurs set themselves up with their own business and build passive income. Everybody likes that. Excited to be rocking out today with Paul Alex. Hey, Paul, you ready to rock?
Absolutely. Let's do this.
All right. We always start off here on a good note. So tell me a story of success in your business or your life that we can be inspired by.
No, absolutely, Tim. So I like to tell people whenever I tell my background story, I'm no one. I'm actually a 9-to-5er. I'm a regular person, no special skills. Was raised in a normal, I would say even low income household. Originally from San Francisco, California. Got into law enforcement. I'm actually a retired detective at the age of, you could say, 34 now. Did it for about 7 years. And I've always been into entrepreneurship. I mean, since the age of 18, man, but it was always serial entrepreneurship. So I was always getting into different avenues. So it still continued as I went into law enforcement. And I eventually ran into a very simple business that, one, I was able to do at home. I was able to do it at my time off, which I didn't have that much time off, man. I only had like a day out of the week. I would work so much overtime, right? What I like to call blood money. So I figured out, hey, you could end up owning an automated teller machine. And for anyone who's listening or watching right now, ATMs, those little machines that you see at the gas stations, convenience stores, grocery stores, all that jazz, right? So I was like, wow, I didn't know that an actual normal person like me can own it. So when I found that out, I did a little bit of research. I ended up going ahead and purchasing my first 6, installing them within a couple months. And then by the third month, I was able to generate $3,000 in passive income. And this was phenomenal. It was actually eye-opening for me because it broke my limiting beliefs. You know, like whenever you tell anybody, Tim, like, yeah, I got this great idea, it's going to be awesome. And then they're like, well, have you done it yet? Or, where's the proof? Ultimately, people want to see you succeed on it first. So that was my situation. I ended up succeeding on it. And then I grew it. I grew it to 30 locations in Northern California, built a 5-figure income while I was still working my 9-to-5, which is phenomenal. You can't really do that with a lot of businesses, especially if you're trying to build it like a home-based business, right? So then I took that idea and I was like, I need to spread the word. I've always been big on helping people. I get a lot of fulfillment from it, which is one of the main reasons why I did law enforcement in the past. And ultimately, I created a company called ATMTogether.com, and that launched in January of 2021. This is after not being on social media for 6 to 7 years, man. So I was out the loop. I still remember going on a date, and the girl, she was like, hey, what's your Instagram? And I was just like, I don't have any social media. And she thought I was weird.
Yep. She's like, red flag, red flag.
Exactly. She's like, what type of weirdo are you? And I was just like, well, I mean, I don't have one. Sorry. So then going and actually being exposed to social media for what it is now, I mean, there's so much information out there, man. And ultimately, I was just like, wow, you got some really successful entrepreneurs here. So it opened up my mind. I was just like, I should be able to do this too. I could talk to people. So ultimately, I joined Facebook. That was the first social media platform I joined. And I joined a bunch of Facebook groups. Very first thing I did, man. I know it sounds old school. Some people are probably listening to this like, what? But that's what I did. And there's actually quite a bit of different communities. So whether you're into musician or music or anything, you can find a Facebook group on any niche. It's cool. So I joined a couple ATM niche-based groups, and ultimately the community was very, you could say, dry. There wasn't really someone educating or motivating newbies, and somebody's completely green trying to get into it. It was almost like it was reverse, man. Like you had a lot of OGs in the industry that were like, hey, get out of here. Like, we don't want to tell you our secrets because, hey, locations are everything with this business, right? So they want to keep everything for themselves. And I was like, well, let me build a group. So it literally started with like me and like 3 of my friends that I invited, right? And it grew. And year to date, right now it is July 8th of 2022. So I launched it, I believe, around April of 2020, and we're currently at 31,000 members. It's crazy how social media can expand your business.
Yep.
So from that, I ended up doing weekly lives for the last year and a half, like every single Tuesday, man, no matter what. I had COVID like 3 times. I still went on those lives and presented, just educating people. And the cool part about this is the fact that a lot of people are like, it's the fact that you, one, were a 9-to-5er, 2, law enforcement, which is weird, right? It's just like, how do you go from law enforcement to like now digital marketer / like entrepreneur? Yeah, it's weird. People are always like, huh? But at the end of the day, I share it from experience. It's not hearsay. It's not stuff that I've learned from other people. No, it's from my own experience. I've been in the industry for a little bit over 6 years now, in the ATM industry. Coming into digital marketing, I've been able to learn how to market myself, but not only market myself, but make my actual company grow at ATM Together. And since I launched it in January 2021, here are some stats for anyone who is listening. I've been able to help over 1,100 clients nationwide. Okay, we're talking about everywhere in the United States, establish their own businesses. And what do I mean by that? I mean, we provide them with the actual machines. We provide them with the education, the mentorship. And I was even able to establish a call center. So we're able to find the locations for our clients. So if you really think about it, what else is there left to do? Realistically, we only need like a day or 2 of your time, and we'll build out a full-on business for you, turnkey, within 4 to 6 weeks. So the project ATMTogether.com that I created, it's helped so many people, it's changed so many lives. And I'm pretty sure we're going to get into that in a little bit, but it's phenomenal what social media can do for business owners right now, especially when you're trying to start a business, hey, from your house, right?
Wow, that's awesome, man. What a great journey that was. So, okay, let's pull you down here from the clouds because not everything goes as planned. And we do talk about the bad note here. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's a great story. I'm sure there were some things that didn't go as well as you would have liked. So is there anything that you can share with us that, didn't go that well and how we can, recover or avoid it?
Oh yeah, man. I mean, I that's the thing with me. I like to keep it real. And that's actually part of my brand, that's part of how I market. And people can really relate to that, So let's talk about the bad. Yeah, for sure. Entrepreneurship, it's a roller coaster ride. Just like, like right now, like crypto, how it's going up and down. That's entrepreneurship. That's basic. That's the analogy that I could explain to you guys.
Yeah.
Hey, trust me, I got my fair share in crypto right now. So I'm like, oof, but I'm going to let it hold, man. I'm going to let it hold. But with that being said, guys, yeah. So let's start with the initial idea of me starting a side business in law enforcement. Okay. Because there was always good, everybody's always pumped up when they find that idea and they're like, this is going to be amazing. This is going to be that one opportunity to change my life. Well, not everybody around your circle or in your life might see it like that, right? Because you see an opportunity, somebody else might say, what opportunity? Because they don't see what you see. It's your vision, it's your life. So ultimately, when I first started with the ATM venture, when I first started with my first 6, like family members, friends, ex-girlfriend, very negative about it. So the fact that I couldn't really share the excitement. I couldn't share the journey. Going into entrepreneurship was hard. And that's one of the, I would say, the downfalls to entrepreneurship is simply that you have to prepare your mindset. You have to prepare your mindset in order to go on this ride. Entrepreneurship, I'm gonna tell you this right now, I've worked almost every single unit in law enforcement in my past 7 years. And entrepreneurship by far is way harder than law enforcement and corporate sales, which I was in corporate sales for 6 years before that, management and all that jazz. I mean, entrepreneurship is the most fulfilling thing you'll ever do, but it's also, it will test you. It will test you for sure. So I would say that would be the first. The second, okay, is when I was actually building my business. And this is something no one talks about, right? You see all these gurus, all these successful people on IG or social media, and they always talk about the good. They always talk about the good. But there's also bad. There's pain that they don't talk about to get to that success, guys. So ultimately, when I first started in the ATM industry, I can say that because I'm very comfortable with saying this, is simply that I had a chip on my shoulder when I first started it, guys. And it's because I was in sales before law enforcement, I was in management before law enforcement. And I was just like, I could do this. I could throw on the suit and then go close some deals for these ATMs. It should be easy. I got it. Well, I learned very quick. Within my first month, I installed the 6 ATMs. Well, only half were profitable. The other first 3 only made me $50. And I had spent literally thousands upon thousands of dollars investing into these ATMs, gas, the tools needed to install them, like all that stuff, right? And it was heartbreaking. As an entrepreneur, especially a new entrepreneur, you're excited about it. And then to see your business not actually succeed right away, that's what deters majority of new entrepreneurs, new businesses, their first year, is people willing to go over that hump, right? So ultimately, what did I do? I invested in myself. Self-education is the biggest thing I could tell anybody to invest in themselves. If you don't have that much money right now to invest in an actual business, invest in education. And I'm not referring to going to college, taking out like hundreds of thousands of dollars to go to college, but I'm talking about just what you specifically are interested in, whether it's ATMs, whether it is real estate, wholesaling. There's a lot of day traders right now trying to figure out what they're going to do these next couple months, right? At the end of the day, whatever it is, there are successful people online that are willing to share their experience. But there's 1 or 2 things you're going to have to do. One is you're going to have to pay for the information because nothing in life is free. Or 2, provide value in order for you to get that information. And those are the 2 things I always tell people. You're either going to pay with money or you're going to pay with time. At the end of the day, nothing is free. So I ended up getting a mentor, and he showed me phenomenal strategies within the ATM industry. Guy has thousands upon thousands of ATMs nationwide. And that was the turning point. I reinstalled my first 3 ATMs. And within 3 months of doing that, having the mentor and all that jazz, $3,000 in passive income. That broke my limiting beliefs. And I was just like, I can do this.
Man, there's so much to unpack in that response. So let's talk about the first part that you were talking about the people around you, sort of being negative about things. And I got to admit, this was something that kind of caught me off guard too. Like I've been an entrepreneur in some way for about 20 years. It was, I've been self-employed full-time for 15. And then 5 years before that, dabbling part-time. And man, like you go and talk to your family and friends, super excited about this idea that you just heard about. And they're just like poo-pooing all over it. And like, not only that, but like making fun of you in front of all your other friends and stuff. Like, oh, Tim's going to go for his dreams. Like, this surprised me because, like people will sort of like, especially on social media, love and light and, be supportive of everybody around, and they do not support you for the most part. And I don't think they're being malicious on purpose. I think it's one of those things where they are sort of trying to protect you, but without getting into your head, they don't realize that I mean, hey, everybody is their own person, and some people are going to be successful in a venture and some people are not, and most people are not. And I get that. So I think they're kind of trying to maybe test your belief in yourself. What do you think? Why do you think that they do that?
Comfort. It's comfort. At the end of the day, I believe that majority of us, I can't even say this about myself even now, I get comfortable. And I actually like it when I have either peers or a loved one call me out and say, well, you're getting comfortable. I like that. It keeps me accountable. At the end of the day, right, when we hit a goal, and this is something I learned in entrepreneurship. I'm sure, Tim, you being in entrepreneurship for so long, man, I mean, kudos to you, man. Not everyone can say that. I've been in entrepreneurship for 15 years. That's amazing, first off. But in my short term entrepreneurship career, where full-time entrepreneurship, basically, I could say, the past 2 years, one, I've learned that once you hit your first goals, right? Let's say you have short-term goals, long-term goals, and you hit those goals. Now it's time to develop new skills and keep growing. I believe society right now is a lot of people are comfortable. A lot of people are comfortable. A lot of people are comfortable at their job. A lot of people want easy money. At the end of the day, social media, I'm not going to completely blame them, but it does do an impact. It makes it look like it's easy
Agreed.
to be an entrepreneur, man.
Yeah.
And entrepreneur, I don't know if you agree on this, but entrepreneurs are the new celebrities. That's the way I saw it. When I looked on social media, I was like, why does everybody have entrepreneur as like their title? It's crazy, right?
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, I mean, my saying to anyone is just don't get comfortable. And I know it sounds cliche because you'll hear all these big time entrepreneurs, successful folks say, hey, you have to get uncomfortable to get comfortable. But it's true. You really do.
Yeah.
I mean, I tell you this, the way that I'm speaking right now wasn't like how I was able to speak on camera a year ago. Dude, I'll tell you right now, I was like stuttering, I was sweating. I was like,
yeah.
But it's a perishable skill. I had to keep doing it. And that's why I consistently did my weekly lives inside of my Facebook group, ATM Business for Beginners, because it's good practice. And now, check this out, man. Never thought this would happen. In 2 weeks, I'm flying out to Atlanta, Georgia for the very first time to speak at a business conference in front of 600 people regarding my services, regarding my background. Basically, what the listeners are listening to right now, but it's going to be in front of live people. Do I feel scared? No. And the only reason why I see that is simply because I know what I'm doing now. And it's just because I've been able to practice it. I've been able to get out of my comfort zone. There's a barrier that we all have to surpass. And now it's like, all right, cool. This is normal to me now, yeah. Right? So people are very afraid of the unknown. I've experienced it in law enforcement, man. I experienced it in the business corporate world. When I told people, hey, I want to be a detective when I was like a rookie in law enforcement, first thing my academy mates did was like try to down me and say like, oh, you're not going to be a detective, dude. Like you suck. Like, it's just the way it is. People like to be comfortable. So whoever's listening right now, get uncomfortable. Go for whatever you want to do. Life's too short. I don't even remember my 20s, man. I'm 34. I don't even remember my 20s. It's crazy. So
Yeah. Well, hey, and you know what? If when someone like tries to tear you down like that and it fires you up, well, you're probably right for this business. but
oh
if
yeah.
it totally deflates, and hey, I get it. It's going to deflate you, that's for sure. But if you flip around, if it flips around and all of a sudden you're like, no, you know what? No, I can do this. Then this is the right place for you. But you had mentioned practice, so let's talk a little bit about that.
Hi, it's Marc Mawhinney from Natural Born Coaches, and I want to give two very big thumbs up to Tim Melanson and his Creative Crew agency. I have been using them for a long time, and I am 100% happy. They get the job done right, they're fast, and they let me focus on my business. I don't have to worry about anything. So again, I want to give them two very big thumbs up. I have no problem recommending them. I don't give testimonials for everyone because my name is attached to it, but I gladly do so for Tim and the Creative Crew agency. So use them, you won't regret it, and good luck.
Because to get good at anything, you've got to practice. So what is your approach to getting good at what you do?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great question. So my approach to getting what to do, I analyze myself. So I was before, okay, I would not have any type of self accountability. And the way I look at things is and I do this every single month, guys. So if you guys want to do this, you guys can go ahead. I recommend one, if the listeners or the viewers right now who are watching this, if you do not have a whiteboard, buy a whiteboard. Okay. If you think the whiteboards are expensive on Amazon, then here's a golden tip for you guys. Just go a DIY on YouTube. Do it yourself whiteboard. You can do it for like $30. It's great. I've done it before. But get a whiteboard and on there, write two boxes or draw out two boxes and put what are your best characteristics and your worst characteristics. And then pick one of your worst characteristics and see how you can improve on that. Okay. I'm a big believer now on self-education now that I've invested over $100,000 the past 2 years in myself. I'm not talking about college, man. I'm actually a college dropout. I dropped out before going to the 4-year from community college. Went against what my parents said. They're like, go to school, go to school, go to school. I was like, I gotta go to work. Like I don't like living with my parents. I don't like, I want to go do my own thing, be independent. And I was able to do it, everybody else, my family, my two sisters, my mom, everybody, they're all medical professionals. So I come from like, I'm like the black sheep of the family, but you could say I've hit like the most success in the family just because I've chased what I wanted to truly do. And now I even have my siblings, some of them, they're like double thinking, they're like, right? But at the end of the day, to get back to practicing, whiteboard, choose your worst characteristics, and then see if you can buy a book or a program that will help you develop your skills towards developing that worst characteristic. Because all of us, even athletes, the 1% of the 1%, right? In the NBA, yesterday I went to a ball game, and I was talking to my buddy, and I was like, do you think some of these baseball players, they really like stand there and just analyze the crowd, and they're just like, wow, like this is crazy, right? Have like what, tens of thousands of people watching them. And it's a very interesting question. And I was like, no, they don't, because they got used to it. You know why they got used to it? Because they practice so much. And that's what it is. We're all scared of the unknown. Yeah. But just wait until you do it again and do it again and do it again. Just like how I was talking about presenting on, podcasts or doing live presentations online. I mean, my first from the first live video I've ever done to now, it's a dramatic change. Completely different person. Went from like a stuttering, nervous, you know, fresh digital marketer to now more of a seasoned, hey, cool, calm, collective, can provide the information, can interact. But it all takes practice, guys. And it really comes with keeping yourself accountable. That's the key.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, okay, so we live in a world right now where it's really easy to get an audience. Actually, you mentioned all these, this huge audience in a stadium or whatever. But let's make a distinction between an audience and fans, because you can have a massive audience and a lot of people watching you, but that's really not going to get you sales. You've got to convert that audience to fans. So, what's your approach on getting people from that, just looking at you to actually liking you?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I love this question because this is what I'm focusing on the most right now. It is actually teaching, okay? Teaching how to brand yourself. I think the market nowadays, especially in 2022, whoever's listening, whoever has a home-based business, you need to realize that if you are not in the mix within your company, you're leaving a lot of money on the table. And the reason why I say this is because a lot of the marketing online, it's going towards influencer marketing. So you are the brand, you are the face. People want to hear your story. What makes you unique? What makes you special? And I think the number one reason why ATMTogether had the level of success it did its first year was just simply because, hey, my websites weren't the best. I didn't have the best funnels. I didn't have the best gizmos or tracking or any of that. I'm actually pretty bad at logistics. So I hired a COO for my company to do that. I'm more of the creative side, right? But what I do know is marketing. And marketing is people to people selling. That's what it is. So if you are able to clearly communicate, one, your offer, right? And picking an offer that there's an actual void, okay? There has to be a void in the niche that you're in. And if you can't find that void, then what you need to do is you need to do research. You need to do your market research, just like these big corporations. And this is something that I've learned. Like I said, guys, I've invested hundreds of thousands of dollars or over $100,000 in my self-education from different programs, from guys like, Dan Henry, great Facebook groups like Clients and Community, like all these different marketers that are very, very successful in marketing. But the key thing that I learned from them, guys, is that you have to have a phenomenal background story. So just like you heard my story, okay, I really had to look at my journey because not everybody can articulate, can clearly communicate their story. But if you really sat down, right, and you tell people, look, this is everything that I've been through. This is the transition from, A to Z. And then ultimately, this is how I was able to build what I'm trying to offer you guys right now. People all day are going to resonate with that. You're going to get fans. You're not just going to get clients, you're going to get fans. And the reason why I say that is simply because every single Tuesday, okay, guys, I'm going to go back to it, that I do these live presentations. I have people that have been in the group for a year, and we'll jump on these calls, right? Consultation calls with some of these clients. The client's like, yeah, I've been watching Paul since the beginning, since like a year and a half ago. And my consultants are like, so what's making you buy now? I had to analyze it. So people are individuals. That's something you guys have to realize, right? So you're going to build your own fan base. And this goes back into being an influencer in the marketing space. Just like you said, Tim, it is actually pretty simple to get your audience now because of how accessible everything else, man. Like, it's crazy, right? You can literally broadcast yourself to the entire world, but you have to get your messaging right. You have to get your offer right. And if you have an issue explaining, communicating what you are trying to offer your actual fan base, then that's what's going to create the hiccup. That's what's going to create your roadblock. You want to make sure that you have a clear offer that people see value in. And then on top of that, be a servant leader. Be a servant, be about the people. So if you truly get people results, guess what? What is that going to generate?
Referrals.
Client results.
Yeah.
Social proof, man. Majority, 99% of my marketing is literally my clients standing next to their ATM proud. And it's because they're proud of it because they never thought a year ago, before they even knew about us in our network, that they would ever own an ATM or even start a business. So it blows their mind. They're like, wow, this is amazing. And now they tell their story because I want to hear about it. And that's the first thing I ask anyone when I talk to them. I was like, so tell me about yourself. Like, what's your story? Like, let's talk like a casual conversation, you know? So it's awesome, but it has to be value driven and it has to be clear. So the client knows where it's coming from, who it's coming from. And ultimately, if you're not the face, if you're not actually promoting the product, you need to start doing that because you're leaving a lot of money on the table.
Love it. Okay, so you mentioned a few things like websites and stuff like that. What are the tools that you use to get success in your business?
Yeah, absolutely. Great question. So you guys are gonna find this sort of weird. I know a lot of marketers were like, what? When I first told them this, but I had built a $1.7 million online business, guys, okay, with 40% basically net profit off of just a single Facebook group. Just a single Facebook group, no website,
Yeah.
no IG, nothing. Now, I didn't have social media for 6-7 years. 6-7 years, right? So me coming into the space, I picked Facebook because I was comfortable with it. And ultimately I took Facebook and got the group and built the community. And it goes back to building your fan base, man. You know, ultimately value. And then at the end of the day, when people start asking like, why are you doing this? To help you out. What else? They're like, can I buy something from you? People actually get you, actually ask you that. They're like, do you sell anything? I'll support you because you provide so much value. They want to help you out too. You've helped them out so much, you know? So at the end of the day, a couple of the tools that I've used, I like using ActiveCampaign for my email list. I like using simple texting. Simple texting is phenomenal. So for all my my techies listening to this, if you guys want a higher success rate of opt-ins for your messaging, let's say you're promoting a live webinar, let's say you're promoting a product. I just did this yesterday for one of my special promotions. We ended up getting 34 consultations booked within a couple hours. This is for a high ticket offer, guys. So simple texting is the way to go. But it's a combination of basically your email list, your text list, SMS, and then your Facebook group. And if you don't have a Facebook group and you're a digital marketing company or you have an online business, you are leaving a ton of money on the table. The biggest, I could say leverage right now is still the groups. I would actually tell people if you're going to do a website, okay, do your website. I think websites are awesome. And the reason why I say this, Tim, websites are awesome because it shows that you're authentic, one, and then you can really go into deep details about your company, about you. I mean, if anybody wants to check out ATMTogether.com while they're listening to this, go ahead and check it out. The first thing you see on there is me, my story, my family, and then I start talking about my clients, and that's it. I really don't. I'm not big. I'm always been low key, guys. So you'll see exactly who the company is about, what we stand for, our morals, all that jazz. I even have like the display of all the employees that work for me. So the great thing about having the website is that you can funnel. Okay, all my guys are guys and gals are into funnels.
Yeah,
you go on the website and you can funnel them back to the Facebook group. Yeah. And I would say that is one of the most important features right now in 2022 and moving forward is to do that. And the reason why, okay, and I'm going to end this. I'm going to end this this answer with this, is simply because if that current prospect or client doesn't buy right away, now they're in your world, in your Facebook group. So what's going to end up happening? They're going to see your promotions. They're going to see your live trainings. They're going to see your content. They're going to see the success, the social proof. So ultimately, they're going to come back. Just like I said earlier, I've had prospects that hit me up after a year, and they were like, "Yeah, I saw you build this thing from like 0 to where it's at right now, 31,000 members. It's crazy." They're like, "Good for you, man. I'm ready to buy. How much?" So ultimately, that would be the biggest golden nugget I could give to anybody. Facebook groups, if you guys are not doing it right now.
Yep. No, I agree 100%. And I mean, you mentioned a couple of things too that I want to make sure that people understand is that, it is possible to build your whole business on Facebook, but you don't own Facebook. And, all the social media platforms, we're seeing it right now. There's like weird stuff going on. I had my music page taken down. Like, I don't know why. It's down now. Apparently I did something wrong. And you don't really own those things. So it is really important to have them funneling into something that you own, like a website, a mailing list. You mentioned all those tools. Use your Facebook groups because those are your communities, and it makes sense. I mean, those are the new meetups. People are online now, so you might as well have those things in place and then funnel them into something that you own, so that if something happens, everything happens, your Facebook group gets deleted, well, you can just fire up another social media platform or even another page, and you still own what you already have, right? And you said earlier, you can just funnel into the new group now, right?
No, absolutely, Tim. You're on the target, my friend. I mean, Facebook groups, yes, is good for marketing purposes, but like Tim said, your email list, your text message list, you're gonna funnel through this whole process, but ultimately you need a opt-in page, right? And where's your opt-in page going to be? It's going to be on your website. So websites are always good. But yeah, have different sources just in case you ever have any of your social media platforms deactivated or taken down or anything like that. You're still in business. So
you bet. Okay. It's time for your guest solo. So tell me what's going on. What's exciting in your business right now?
Yeah, absolutely. So what's exciting right now is we just launched a new program. It is actually called the Automation Elite Program. And what this Automation Elite Program is, basically it includes absolutely everything that any aspiring entrepreneur, any 9-to-5er would ever want if they ever wanted to start another source of passive income through ATMs. And it's phenomenal because literally it takes minutes to load up your ATM once a month. And guess what? It's generating you money. Okay. I always get the question, well, whose money's in the ATM? It's actually your money. You don't need that much money to actually start an ATM business. I'm going to tell you this right now, guys. It has potential to have better return on investment than actually real estate right now. And you're going to be spending less than 10 grand. Okay. What we include in our services is basically the ATM, the internet service, the processing, which is the network that facilitates the transactions for the clients. And we have sales reps. We have a call center, so we're able to actually find any location nationwide. We do all the negotiation. We do all the hard work while you focus on what's important to you guys, which is your family, your 9 to 5, your main niche, your main business, and let us do the hard work for you. On top of that, Tim, I have a processing department with a phenomenal tech team, and they'll actually help you one-on-one on programming, installation, like everything that you need. And to go back on what I was saying, how I invested $100,000 in my self-education from all these different programs. Well, guess what? Guess what I did, guys? I created lessons, marketing, sales, prospecting, everything you need to know regarding this business. So from the time that a complete newbie in the ATM industry comes into our network, okay, we go week 1. We help them out with establishing their company. We help them out with getting the bank accounts. Week 2, we help them out with the paperwork. We ship out their ATM to them. Then we get started on the location. Week 3, hurry up and wait. Basically, you're just educating yourself within the online program that I've built. And then by week 4 to 6, you have your location. You're going to go do a simple follow-up. And on that simple follow-up, all you're doing is simply introducing yourself. Hey, my name is Paul Alex from ATM 101. Our partners called you regarding the actual ATM installation. Yeah, they did. Everything's good to go. Okay, cool. We'll give you guys the legal contract, which is actually inside of our program. We have multiple contracts. Have them sign it. Now you have a binding contract. You install your ATM, which takes about 20 minutes. Boom, turnkey business. And majority of our clients start making return on investment the day they install it, literally before they even leave the actual location. It's phenomenal. This is why we've been able to expand for 1,100 clients. And we also have guarantees on everything, guys. So you guys will love this, okay? So anybody that's listening right now, if you're interested in this, I recommend check out my website, www.atmtogether.com. Or you could check out the Facebook group. It's called ATM Business for Beginners, guys.
Wow, that's amazing, man. So really that kind of covers everything. So like, who would be the best type of person that would get success with this?
Great question. I mean, we have everybody, like literally from all different life forms. We have first responders, we have military, we have nurses, we have doctors, we have lawyers, we have the 9 to 5, we have the 18-year-old who just turned 18 2 days ago. We have the retirees that are bored at home and they have, you know, their monthly checks coming in and they want to invest it, right? And they want a simple business that they can actually understand. All types of aspiring entrepreneurs, 9 to 5ers, small business owners. This business is good for everybody. And this is coming from an ex-cop who started this working 60 to 100 hours a week, guys. Okay, that's weird, right? Law enforcement to ATMs to digital marketing. Hey, it's 2022. Anything's possible, right? So this is for absolutely anyone who is listening and wants to make an additional source of passive income. At minimum, guys, join the Facebook group, get the free education. You can actually start your business for free if you like. I mean, it's on there. All the information's on there. I don't hide anything. I don't sell just a course. I sell services, guys. So if you want my help, I can help you.
Right on, Paul. Okay, so what was that website again?
It's www.atmtogether.com. And we also have our Facebook group, ATM Business for Beginners.
Love it. Thank you so much for rocking out with me today, Paul. This has been a lot of fun.
Oh, absolutely, Tim. Thank you.
Cool. And to the listeners, make sure to subscribe, rate, and comment. We'll see you next time on the Work at Home Rockstar Podcast.